Okay, so we're back, and I've gone through all of the large areas with my larger tipped brush for the first coat. Again, multiple layers, multiple thin layers is the key. So now I've got a finer tipped brush, and now I'm going to go into the areas that um, are finer. And I'm going to get in there with the brush, very subtle jabs, not big motions, and let the paint do the work. Again, the consistency of the paint is really key here, so that way you don't have to try and get into every single little nook, because some of these finer details could really take some time getting in there, or having to get a smaller brush. And this is one way to avoid that. Now, if you have the skill and the eyesight and can do that, all the more power. Um, Nothing wrong with that at all. There are tons of different techniques when it comes to painting, and I'm just showing you mine. I'm not saying that mine are right or that they're better than another way, but it's how I accomplish it. So, coming in, I'm trying to keep a wet edge where I'm going, so I try not to stray too far, although staying focused sometimes can be a little bit of struggle, because our eyes see all the things that aren't finished, but trying to be consistent and just a wet edge. I should probably explain what that is. So um, where you start and where you stop, if you keep that wet edge, they will tend to flow into one another because of all of the components of the paint themselves. They want to bond to each other. So by keeping a wet edge, they tend to flow all together as compared to dry, and then you start to get another layer, another coat. Now that is a different technique, and it's got its time, place, and purpose. So as you can see, I'm just kind of working in here, my fine tip brush, subtle jabs, applying paint. And I'm not, when I dip into my dish to get more paint, I'm not loading up the brush. Again, I'm small, I'm dragging the tip of the brush through the paint so as to apply paint to the bristles. And it's okay to not load up the brush and having to dip more often. Again, that's where I'm at, and I feel like that gives me control as compared to there being a bunch of paint in the bristles and then it's starting to puddle up or flow or go places that I do not want it to go. So again, now in some of these areas you won't have the opportunity to drag the tip, so you're just going to essentially stipple the paint in there. And again, with how thick the paint is, by having that viscosity by way of adding water, it's going to, you're dropping the paint in, essentially, using the brush as a method of which to drop the paint right into those little fine nooks and crannies there.